Aspect to it as well. It's also a sexual revolution. When women are dressed and yet naked, eventually you're going to have the majority of children being born as awladu zina. Said the Prophet ﷺ, 1400 years ago in Arabia, he said it. A child being born out of wedlock, that's no big thing anymore. Everybody doing it. Huh? Marriage, that's for the birds. We don't bother about marriage anymore. Huh? This is the best of all worlds. A sexual revolution which is going to result in the majority of children being born as awladu zina, out of wedlock. And more than that, and the Muslim youth better listen. He said the time will come when people will have sexual intercourse in public like donkeys. Like donkeys. An African student wrote to me from Paris, Sheikh, we don't have to wait for that. It's right here now, just outside of my window in my university dormitory. I can look out and see them having sexual intercourse like donkeys. That's what the student told me. An African student in Paris, just about maybe a month ago. Another one told me I was in Tokyo, and on a street in Tokyo I saw them like donkeys having sexual intercourse in public. In public. What do? We first of all recognize this is the work of Dajjal. This is the work of Dajjal. And so there's going to be a release of sexual energy in the world as we travel further and further in time. People are going to become more and more obsessed with sex. And to the point of sometimes being driven to madness. And so we see the incidence of rape increasing all over the world. Rape, women being attacked. We see the incidence of casual sexual relations. Women exposing their bodies. And Allah has created the woman as the most beautiful thing in the whole world for a man. No man will dispute that. The most beautiful, the most precious thing in the whole world for a man is a woman. Yes. So when women expose themselves, they're dressed and yet naked. All of this is being exposed to excite men, to lure men into sin. You remain in the midst of all those women who are dressed and yet be naked. Tomorrow it will become business as usual. Nothing will register inside of you, and that is a sign of decline of faith. My answer is to get out. Get out and go to the remote countryside where you won't be seeing these things. You're not going to like these words of mine. It doesn't bother me. I preach the deen to please Allah. So we move out to the countryside and we build villages, Muslim villages. And in these villages we will have not one wife, many wives. Because every woman who comes to that village and says, I want a husband, somebody has to marry her. Somebody has to marry her. So if your wife says, well, I don't want my husband to take another wife, we say, well, why don't you stay in KL? Why don't you stay in Kuala Lumpur? No. Allah has permitted plural marriages. And plural marriages has more than one benefit in it. It is not that plural marriages helps to provide husbands for so many women who otherwise would not have husbands. It is not that plural marriages help to provide maintenance for women and children who otherwise would not be maintained. But plural marriages has an impact on the masculinity of the male. Plural marriages has a positive impact on male virility, making you more of a man. And Hussein doesn't care for popularity. Now, finally, before we end, why have we concentrated on the youth in this fake glamour of the modern age? The answer is because it is Suratul Kahf of the Quran more than any other surah which explains Akhirul Zaman, the age in which we now live. And in Suratul Kahf there is the story of the young men in the cave. Innahum fityatun amanu bi rabbihim wa zidnahum huda. Allah directs attention. The ones who stood up and proclaimed their faith, regardless of the price they had to pay, were young men. The ones who withdrew from society. I'm giving up my home, I'm giving up my town rather than giving up my faith. And they fled to a cave. Were young men, not old people like myself. Were young men. And so if the flag of Islam is to be taken to triumph tomorrow, it is young men.